Welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. You can support our podcast by subscribing to our Patreon. All our Patreon supporters get access to a cool series on wartime life in Ukraine. From this series, you can learn how ordinary Ukrainians live in times of invasion, what they eat, how they travel, celebrate, what music they listen to, and much more. To subscribe to our Patreon, follow the link in the description to this episode. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 173 days, Ukraine defends itself against the Russian invasion. In his evening video address, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy said that Russia continues both provocative shelling of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant territory and uses it to shell nearby cities and communities. Zelenskyy added that the Russian troops hide ammunition and equipment right in the facilities of the plant, and de facto it is mined. The president stressed that the world has been fighting for many decades for proper control over all activities with nuclear materials and radiation safety. Quote, "If now the world lacks the strength and determination to protect one nuclear plant, it means that the world loses to terrorists, gives in to nuclear blackmail. And this may be a precedent that other terrorists will see. There is still a chance to prevent this defeat," unquote. A court in the Netherlands announced plans to issue on November 17 a verdict in the case of the MH17 flight that was shot down in the sky over Ukraine, reports Radio Liberty. Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777 flying MH17 Amsterdam-Kuala Lumpur was shot down in the sky over the Donetsk region on July 17, 2014. All 298 people on board died. Two-thirds of the passengers were Dutch nationals. The cause of the disaster is being investigated by the Joint Investigation Team, which includes representatives of law enforcement agencies from Ukraine, the Netherlands, Belgium, Australia, and Malaysia. In September 2016, the group published conclusions that the liner was shot down by a missile launched from the Buk surface-to-air missile system, and a year ago announced that Buk belonged to Russia's 53rd Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade stationed in Kursk. The Joint Investigation Team named Igor Girkin, Strelkov, Sergei Dubinsky, Oleg Pulatov, and Leonid Kharchenko as suspects in the MH17 downing. All of them were put on the international wanted list. The Latvian Defense Ministry informed that they transferred 4 helicopters to the Air Force of Ukraine, reports Ukrinform. Previously, Latvian media said that these helicopters are 2 Mi-17 and 2 Mi-2 helicopters of Soviet design. Before delivery, the helicopters were painted and 1 Mi-17 was overhauled. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy signed a decree creating an advisory council on the occupation and reintegration of Crimea, which has been occupied by Russia since 2014, reports Espresso TV. According to the document, Council will work to facilitate the coordination of activities on the occupation, reintegration and restoration of the territorial integrity of Ukraine, protection of citizens' rights, overcoming the consequences and compensation for damage caused to the state of Ukraine, its citizens and legal entities due to the aggression of Russia. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that the enemy tries to advance in the areas of Kramatorsk, Bakhmut and Avdiivka in the Donetsk region, reports Unian. In the Zaporizhzhia region, the Russian troops are conducting an offensive in the direction of Solodka-Novomykhailivka. They are partially successful, the hostilities are ongoing. In the Mykolaiv region, the Russian forces unsuccessfully tried to advance towards Zeleny-Novogrigorivka but suffered significant losses. United 24 fundraising platform raised $170 million for Ukraine, reports Interfax Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy met in Kyiv yesterday with the ambassadors of the United 24 platform, Ukrainian football star Andriy Shevchenko, and American actor, screenwriter and producer Liv Schreiber. Zelenskyy noted that it is not only about the amount of charitable contributions, but also about the attention that the ambassadors attract to the topic of the Russian war against Ukraine. According to the president, the decline in global attention to what is happening in Ukraine is one of the main challenges now, because it affects both the volume of international support, the pace of arms supplies, and the coverage of this topic in the media. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine. Thank you.